Welcome to our channel. Today we're revealing 75 of the most shocking old photos that shook the world. Subscribe and hit the like button. The Gargoyle of Notre Dame overlooking Paris, 1910. An excited father faints upon meeting his triplet babies after his wife gave birth. Traffic officer operating a mechanical traffic signal, Philadelphia, 1922. A coal miner spending leisure time with his family, West Virginia, 1938. Einstein at the age of 3, 1882. A mother with her daughter, 1880. A couple visiting Balanced Rock in the Garden of the Gods, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 1920. A classroom in New York 138 years ago. Anna Haining Bates, 7 feet 11 inches, one of the tallest women in history, with her husband. Teenage sisters Gertrude and Ursula Falk, Germany, 1906. The Great Wall of China, 1907. A family preparing to cruise in their 1903 Cadillac Model A tonneau. Charging an electric car, 1905. John Belushi, Carrie Fisher, and Dan Aykroyd on the set of The Blues Brothers, 1980. Margot Hemingway, circa 1970s. A man lighting a street lamp in Paris, 1905. A girl posing with her car, around 1920. Elizabeth Taylor with her brother, Howard Taylor, in 1937. A young woman taking her loaf of bread out of the oven, 1909. The world's largest log cabin in Portland, Oregon, 1938. Originally built in 1905, it was destroyed by fire in 1964. Times Square, New York City, 1936. Polish armor made of 1,074 plates, 16th century. Chief Irontail cranking an early automobile, 1915. A girl in her pedal car, 1922. Children playing in Central Park, with the Clark Mansion in the distance. New York City, 1910s. A view from the slums of Cumberland Street, Dublin, Ireland, in the 1940s. Portrait of a smiling young boy, 134 years ago. What Christmas looked like 100 years ago. Dust Bowl refugees heading west to start a new life, 1939. A maintenance worker painting the Sydney Harbour Bridge, Australia, 1945. Photographer Margaret Bourke-White taking a photo from the top of the Chrysler Building, 1935. A 19-year-old James Dean, 1950. The Empire State Building in 1941, with no tall skyscrapers surrounding it. Old-fashioned roller skates, 1910. Frozen Niagara Falls, 1911. Portrait of a family around 1875. Former sharecroppers, just before moving to Southeast Missouri farms, 1938. Women factory workers in a cotton mill in Lancashire, circa 1908. Looking down Main Street of the rugged Wild West town of Deadwood, Dakota Territory, 1877. One of the last photos of Charlie Chaplin, taken in 1977. An American family heading north from Florida during the Great Depression. A 32-year-old mom trying to start a new life in California. March, 1937. A soldier and his date. Boston, Massachusetts, circa 1940. A father with his 4 daughters, 1904. A female firefighting team on a converted motorcycle in London, 1932. A man on the porch of his cabin, Eagle Creek, Murray, Idaho, 1889. Miss America, 1924. A group of young boys in Washington, early 1940s. Sybil Shepherd and Martin Scorsese on the set of Taxi Driver, 1976. A family living in London slums, 1900s. Children living in the river bottoms of Shacktown, Dubuque, Iowa, 1940. California Street, San Francisco, 1964. A couple taking an early morning stroll on board of Titanic, 1912. A family, a sod house, and a windmill, Nebraska, 1886. A sweet photo of a brother and sister, Charlottesville, Virginia, circa 1916. A little girl and her kitty, Harlem, New York, 1949. Family walking out of supermarket store pushing a grocery cart, 1950s. Young girls working at an oyster shucking processing plant, 1912. This farmhouse once stood in Manhattan where 84th Street and Broadway now cross, 1879. A girl getting a perm, 1950s. A kid posing in a suit on Chicago's South Side, 1941. Madison Square, New York, 1900. A wealthy family celebrating a child's birthday. Upper East Side, Manhattan, New York, 1906. King George VI of England enjoying a slide, 1925. Portrait of a young, grumpy girl from the 1850s. A 1920s Harley-Davidson with a covered sidecar. Meryl Streep in the 1970s. A gas station from 1920. Control room for a German submarine, 1918. Egyptian women walking down a busy street in Cairo, Egypt, 1950s. Federico Caprilli demonstrates the skills of his horse as part of the esteemed Italian Cavalry School, 1906. A cable worker during the construction of the Empire State Building. Soba noodles delivery man in Tokyo, Japan, 1935. A boy and his pedal car, 1930s. a bus conductress at work on the top deck of an open-top bus in the snow during World War I.